Could it be that Plunge is actually getting into the DIY cold plunge game? That's right, Plunge, the creators of the iconic cold plunge tub that you probably saw on Shark Tank. And when you think of cold plunging, there's a chance this image comes to mind. In just a few short years, they've came from just one product to having multiple cold plunge options, multiple sauna options, rebounders, showers, basins to catch the water, and they just keep on innovating. And throughout that time, you had to dive all in on Plunge if you wanted to enjoy a Plunge product. Well, now they're changing that, and they're announcing their standard universal chiller that you can use on any DIY tub setup cold plunge that you want. We're gonna talk about it all in this video, so let's get right into it. First, we have to talk about the chiller. So this is the Plunge standard chiller. It can reach temperatures of 39 degrees. It's all compatible with the Plunge app. And if you have a Plunge product, or if you don't have a Plunge product, the Plunge app is a really fun ecosystem. It's one of the better apps out there for tracking your cold plunges, tracking your sauna, and communicating with other like-minded people out there that cold plunge and sauna. And if you happen to have a Plunge product, like the Plunge chiller, you can connect it to your app. You can change your temperature. You can keep track of your cold plunge to make sure that the health and maintenance of your cold plunge is up to par, so you don't have to skip a beat. And though I have full reviews and walkthroughs of this chiller, the Pro chiller, and all the other Plunge products on my channel, so make sure you subscribe, we're not gonna get into all the crazy details of this chiller. I'll have it linked at the end of this video, but this video is about how are we going to connect this chiller to any cold plunge tub that we want. Well, it's gonna start with the connections to the chiller itself. Now, a lot of people follow my channel and subscribe to my channel because of the different DIYs and different products that I review. And there has been quite a few people who've reached out to me privately, and if you ever have a question that you don't want to post publicly on YouTube, or if you don't have a YouTube account and you just watch my stuff, make sure that you go to Instagram and follow me there. Send me any message, ask me any question. I love helping you make the best decision for yourself, hence why I keep making videos like this. But it's all gonna start with the actual connection to the back of the Plunge chiller. Now, this is a connection that is very difficult to find out there. Actually, I've still not been able to find the perfect connection to the back of this chiller that you can buy on Amazon. However, if you do take this entire thing into a hardware store, they can typically find the right fitting there. The cool thing is, Plunge is now giving us the option to get a universal kit with the standard chiller, so we can get exactly what we need to connect this chiller to any tub that we want. We can connect it to an ice barrel, we can connect it to a Grizzly tub, we can connect it to any of the inflatables out there. And I hate to say this, but there are a lot of companies that have came and gone that had really decent tubs, but their chillers were not great at all. A lot of the chillers failed. A lot of the people were left with just a tub and no chiller. So they were forced to make a decision. Go back to using ice, make their own DIY, or purchase an entirely new cold plunge. The cool thing now, Plunge is giving us an option that we can use their chiller, dive into their ecosystem, and connect it to anything that we might currently have or want to do ourselves. While I'm back here, I do want to also talk about this canister. If you don't know anything about this chiller, it's important to know that it does have a 20 micron filter, which is going to help keep your water clean. Well, now let's talk about what you get with the standard universal DIY kit. We're going to talk about all this in a second. Let's talk about the tubes first and foremost. And like I was mentioning, you get the actual connection that's going to go into the back of the chiller. Not only do you get the connection, you get a ball valve here, so when you do need to change your filter, drain your tub, or do anything that you need to without getting water all over the floor, you can just turn off the water from the source so you don't have water coming out going into your chiller, or vice versa. So this is one of the tubes that come with the adapter, and this is gonna be the tube that transfers the water from your chiller back into your tub. We'll set that to the side here and talk about this baby, and this is the actual setup that's going to transfer the water from your tub into the chiller. And before it does that, the water is going to come through this pipe. This is where it's going to be attached to your tub. Water's going to come through here. You have a ball valve right here that you can turn off if you want to clean out your pre-filter, which that's exactly what this canister is right here. And then you can turn it back on and the water flows right back through. This little T-valve is going to take you to a drain spout. So you can actually unscrew this piece right here. This will attach to a regular garden hose, and this little ball valve will open up and you can drain your tub straight from here. And you can divert the water using a garden hose with this little attachment right here, or just let the water just come right on out of there. Now this is a pre-filter. This is gonna screen out any grass, hair, debris that might come through the tubing, and you wanna prevent that from going into the chiller because that's one of the things that can damage a chiller. So you're gonna wanna clean this out about once a week, and then you have another ball valve here if you do need to just shut it off and take everything off. This is gonna be what connects your tub of choice into the Plunge standard chiller. So these are the two connections here. Let's set these off to the side and talk about everything that we actually get. Now, I've been working with the Plunge team on this, and I think we've got it figured out and got exactly what we need to connect to pretty much any cold plunge that you can find. Now, first and foremost, these are some extra O-rings that you're gonna wanna keep, and these are gonna go onto the attachment into the chiller, and that's going to give you a nice little watertight seal, so you don't want to lose your O-rings, but we'll set those off to the side. These are gonna be some clamps. These clamps are gonna be what connects different attachments to the actual hose itself. So you definitely are gonna wanna have these as well, and the cool thing is you don't need a tool. You can actually twist these with your hand. Tighten with your hand, loosen with your hand, so you don't have to get a screwdriver, which that's a really nice touch. You're gonna get some Teflon tape, a brand new bag of Teflon tape, so you can use this. This will help prevent any water from leaking on your seals. So now that leads us to the actual connections that are gonna connect to your tub of choice. There's a lot of different connections out there, and I think Plunge has given us the three most important ones that are gonna get us connected to most of the cold plunge options out there. Maybe you have a 3/4 inch female, and that's what these two adapters are gonna be for. So this is a 3/4 inch female thread into the barb, and once again, the barb, both of these barbs will just go right into the hose that comes with the Plunge universal adapter. So you have two of those. We'll set those off to the side as well. Let's just say you have one of those cold plunges that has a 1/2 inch connection port. Maybe your 1/2 inch connection is a male. So this is a 1/2 inch connection, which is going to turn into a 3/4 inch thread. So you have a 1/2 inch male thread to a 3/4 inch female thread. You'll use this with this piece right here. So if you do have a 1/2 inch, you'll use these adapters together. This will allow your 1/2 inch male to go into this and then connect to your universal adapter. Set this off to the side. Three great options. And now let's talk about how you actually connect this to a different cold plunge. So the first thing you're gonna wanna do once you get this universal kit is you're gonna wanna figure out which tub it is that you're gonna set it up to, your DIY, ice barrel, whatever it is that you're gonna set it up to. And you wanna make sure that you have the right adapter going into your tub. Once you have that figured out and you have your tub set in a nice spot, you are gonna need electricity. The good news about this chiller is you'll never need more than 15 amps. So just plugging it into any household outlet. Next, you're gonna wanna identify both of these connection tubes that you get. We have the one with the pre-filter attached to it, and this is gonna go on the bottom hole. So I'm gonna go ahead and just connect it here to the B, or the bottom hole, and just tighten it on. I'm not gonna tighten it too much, but I'm just gonna tighten it on there just enough to where it's on there. And then I'm gonna go ahead and take the blank tube that doesn't have a pre-filter, and I'm gonna connect this to the A hole at the top. The A hole. And once again, I'm just gonna put it on there. I'm not gonna make it super tight, but just have it on there so I have both of these tubes attached. Next, I'm gonna figure out which connection I need to hook it up to the tub. Let's go ahead and talk about a few of the different options that you're gonna see a lot of here. So the first option we're gonna talk about, which is a very popular option for DIYers and people who are just getting into cold plunging, is the ice barrel. Now this is the ice barrel 500. There's the 300, which is a little smaller than this, and then there's the original ice barrel 400. Almost all of them will be pretty much exactly what I'm gonna show you right here. Ice barrel now comes with this easy connection for any chiller you choose. And the cool thing about this connection is this is a 3/4 inch female. So you're gonna need this adapter, which is the 3/4 inch male. And all you're gonna do is twist this onto the top hole of the ice barrel. Very easy. And then you're gonna need this adapter for the bottom, which is the 3/4 inch female. And that's gonna screw right at the bottom into the actual spigot. You can take the spigot out and use this exact same connection. The cool thing is it's really easy to do it either way with the ice barrel. I would probably recommend taking the spigot off completely, since you're gonna have that ball valve on the pipes anyway. So when it does come time to change your filters, you don't have water flowing through your chiller and getting all over your floor. You take your other connection exactly like this one, and you're gonna put it at the very bottom of your ice barrel. You'll do the exact same thing on the ice barrel 300 or the ice barrel 400. Now the 400 requires a little DIY, and I have a full video on how you're going to use that adapter in my playlist on my channel about cold plunging. It's a very popular video, very easy to find, and I'll have it linked at the end of this video as well. But connecting this chiller to an ice barrel, super, super easy. Now let's talk about probably one of the most popular options out there, and that's the inflatables. There's a ton of inflatable cold plunge companies out there. Many have came and gone. Some of them are still out there doing their thing. This is an inflatable that I have, and I just want to show you real quickly how easy it is to put this adapter onto one of these. So on the backside of most of the inflatables that I've ever reviewed, you're gonna have two things. Most of them come with the 1/2 inch female. And most of them have also, all of them have came with an adapter like this that goes from a 1/2 inch into a 3/4 inch. Now, if you've never played with adapters like this, I might be saying some numbers that are going over your head. Basically, you have multiple options that come from Plunge. At the end of the day, all you need is a barb. So if you have a cold plunge that already has a barb on it, that's all you need. A 3/4 inch barb, that's the size of this barb. That's all you need to connect the tube from the Plunge chiller onto any of the tubs of your choosing. They send you a lot of different size adapters so that it's easy to connect to most of the popular options out there. Most of the inflatable cold plunges come with an adapter like this. So I'm gonna screw this in to the tip here, boom. And then we're gonna take this little barb, which is the 3/4 inch thread, male to 3/4 inch barb, and we're just going to screw it right into this adapter here. Now, at the time of making this video, the adapters that Plunge sent is what you're seeing here, but there's a really good chance they might add a couple different adapters as this progresses, if this becomes a popular option for people, because I know, I talk to them all the time, they're really trying to innovate the market and make it really easy for more people to get cold without completely breaking the bank. They want to have a cold plunge for every budget. And then just like the ice barrel, once you have these connected, you'll do the exact same thing at the bottom. Now let's go actually hook one of these up. And by the way, this is a 20 micron filter, and because I'm going to be hooking this up, I might as well show you how easy it is to change or add a filter. Get this little canister on the side of the chiller here. We're going to unscrew it, pop it out there. You're gonna wanna take the plastic off of this filter. You're never gonna spray these out. Some people ask like, oh, can I just spray it out? No, 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 this is something you're gonna have to replace probably once a month, depending on use, maybe even more than that. So in the bottom of your canister is that little knob there that you're gonna put this on. Then you just slide it back in here. Make sure it catches onto the knob inside there, boom, boom, boom. And then you just screw it back on. Now we have a nice filter in there. Another little hack that a lot of people tend to either overlook or they just don't know is this little tool that usually is magneted inside there. This is for tightening this canister on or loosening this canister if it's been on a little too tight for a little too long. And then it's got a magnet, just goes right there on the inside, so you shouldn't ever lose it. Screw this down here into the bottom. You can use the Teflon tape if you have it indoors and you don't want any water to spew out. That's probably important to a lot of people. It's not so important to me, so once again, I'm gonna just keep this super easy and super doable. So now I have my barbs on here and I've got my tubes on the backside of my chiller. I'm gonna grab one of these trusty little clamps. I'm gonna find the tube that has the pre-filter on it, and that's gonna go on the bottom barb of whatever cold plunge it is you're using. You're gonna take this, slide it onto this little tubing. So you're gonna pull back the condensation insulation there. And then we're just gonna take this little guy and we're just gonna push it onto this barb nice and tight. Once you have it on there nice and tight, you can tighten up this little clamp onto the tube just to keep it from coming off. It also helps keep the water from coming out. So we've got our bottom tube attached, super easy. And we're gonna take the top one and do the exact same thing to the top barb, because this is where the water is gonna be coming out of the chiller and back into our cold plunge tub. Same thing, I love that these are hand tightened. That's just super convenient. I used to have to get my screwdriver out. So now I've got both of those tubes on there. And guys, we're done. That's it. It's hooked up. All I have to do now is fill this up with water, plug this into an outlet, and turn it on. It's that simple. So how easy was that? Seriously, if you want to get the standard plunge chiller and get the universal kit, you can connect it to any of the DIY tubs of your choosing. I connected it to this little inflatable because I do feel like that is going to be one of the more used options out there, because these are pretty inexpensive now. But getting a good chiller alongside with an inflatable, that's the toughest part. Plunge has done a lot of the hard work, typically finding the right connections, a good chiller, good tub. It's a little bit of a gamble and it can get kind of expensive. So giving you the option to do it yourself, Plunge, good job. So now what do you do? Well, if you've watched this video to this point and this is a product you're considering, I can save you a little bit of money. Just use the link down in the description below and discount code MAUS, that's M-A-U-S. It'll save you some money, get it shipped right to your door, and start getting cold today. And as per usual, if you have any questions at all, you can reach out to me on Instagram or you can comment down in the comments below. Make sure you like this video, subscribe, all that fun YouTube stuff. I'll see you guys on the next video, my friends. Have a great day and God bless. And hey, before you go, if you want to watch the video where I go over the chiller in detail, it's gonna be right here. So go ahead and click that right here. This will give you way more information on the chiller itself, because in this video, I wanted to really just show how easy it was to connect it to any tub of your choice. So click it right here.